According to the CEO and founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Amazon will one day fail. So what does this mean as a shareholder of Amazon? Is it time to sell out of this stock and close out your position because, it is going to fail one day? Or maybe the recent weakness in Amazon stock is providing us a good opportunity for the long term. Well, let's dig deeper into this and find out if Amazon stock is a buy or if it's something we should be worried about. So this was a pretty interesting article that came out a few weeks ago, and in my opinion kind of flew under the radar, and not a lot of people have been talking about this. I haven't seen any videos really on YouTube about this either. So I thought I'd make a video on this and kind of let you guys know what came out of a meeting that Jeff Bezos had with some Amazon employees a few weeks ago. So like I said, in a meeting that Bezos had with his employees a few weeks ago in November, he did come out and say that an average lifespan of a large company is usually 30 years. But then what caught a lot of people's attention, especially the media outlets, was when he said, quote, "Amazon is not too big to fail. In fact, I predict one day Amazon will fail. Amazon will go bankrupt. If you look at larger companies, their lifespans tend to be 30 plus years, not 100 plus years." So Amazon, if you're not aware, is currently around 24 years old or so. And they aren't that young, they're not that old either. But the key message here, what Bezos wants to get across to his employees, is that just because Amazon is massive right now and they just keep growing into every single segment out there, it does not mean that they're foolproof and they will never fail. And what he really wants to get across to his employees here is to kind of tell them that their purpose as an Amazon employee is to help delay this inevitable process of the company failing for as long as possible. And how does Bezos plan to do this or suggest that they do this? Well, by focusing on the customer. So you can see in here in another quote, Bezos said that if we try to start to focus on ourselves instead of focusing on our customers, that will be the beginning of the end. We have to try and delay that day for as long as possible. And personally, being an Amazon customer, I think that Amazon has far superior customer service than almost every single other retailer out there. Rarely when I go to chat with Amazon support do I have to escalate an issue to a supervisor or a manager, because the reps are trained pretty well to help deal with customer issues and help resolve issues, leaving the customer satisfied. There was one instance that I remember over the few years that I've been ordering off Amazon where I did have to go to support and I did have to escalate to a manager because, let's say, the employee that was helping me was not very polite. But as soon as I escalated that, I dealt with the supervisor and things got resolved within minutes. So it's really important to see how Amazon addresses these problems. They will take a loss on products if they have to, because their number one priority, like Bezos said, is to have their customers satisfied. So clearly this model that they're pushing is working for the company. And if you look at how many people use Amazon today compared to a year ago, it actually is pretty significant, especially in markets that Amazon is expanding more to. So in my personal view, in my personal opinion, I saw friends and family say about a year ago that knew about Amazon, knew about their services, but never really looked into it. And now fast forward a year, they have a Prime account and they occasionally purchase stuff off of Amazon. The combination of convenience, hassle-free returns, and excellent customer service keeps customers coming back for more and more and choosing Amazon for their number one spot to shop at for anything that they need. But anyways, going back to the root of this article, what I did find interesting was how Bezos actually came out and flat out said that Amazon will fail one day. Now, a lot of people are taking this as a huge negative and they're kind of seeing him as pessimistic here. But in my opinion, this is more of a realist statement. It is a fact that companies do fail over the long term, especially larger companies. Look at large companies in the past, there's a lot of retailers that have failed. You have large telecom companies like Nortel that have failed. And it is kind of inevitable if things start crumbling below it. But what Amazon is trying to do to combat this, like we talked about, is make sure that base, that foundation is strong with the customers, and then everything else will kind of hold its place over time as well. I also like that Bezos is saying this right now where Amazon is considered at its peak. I mean, it's out there, it's dominating every single industry that it's in. And it's important that Bezos reminds his employees that yes, Amazon is at its top right now, but we have to maintain this standard of service to be at the top still in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years as well. Over the next 5 years or so, Amazon's going to go over some major transformations personally in the company. and the company's going to look very different, say 5, 10, 15 years from now. The big change, of course, that they announced recently was their headquarters too. They're going to have an office in New York City and Northern Virginia. It's going to employ something like 50,000 employees. And this is, of course, going to change the business fundamentally as well. This will be a pretty major expense for the company to go out and build these offices to support these many employees in 2 big cities. And with interest rates starting to creep up recently with the Fed's hiking rates, Amazon is one of those companies that does get affected by that. They do have a large debt load. They do have to pay a lot of interest on their debt. And when interest rises, they do have to pay more cash to finance those debts. So that is something to consider if you are an Amazon investor or considering investing in Amazon. But on the flip side, Amazon is now turning a profit and they are able to pay off some of their debts quarter after quarter because their profits are exploding. So that could kind of be a rebuttal to, interest rates rising. That's okay because now they do turn a bigger profit than they did, say, a year ago. And this is just projected to keep rising over the next few years. But now looking at the charts here for Amazon, we can see that it's currently still off of its all-time highs and had a big correction in October and November. It's sitting under a critical resistance level, and the next few days will kind of be telling, in my opinion, to see if we can get above. Now, I don't see any other major catalysts for stocks in the upside coming in the next few weeks, couple of months. So this may reject this level in the short term. But I do find it interesting to see how quickly the stock sold off from over $2,000 per share to below $1,500 per share. And this shows you just how volatile a stock can be in terms of uncertainty. I do like that we're back above our moving averages again right now, but this does not mean we're out of the woods yet with Amazon stock. So at this point, I'm really curious to find out if you guys have recently opened up a position in Amazon or maybe recently closed out a position in Amazon. I know at the time when we dropped below $1,500 per share, a lot of people turned bearish on Amazon. There was a lot of fear out there on Amazon. But now that we're back above $1,700, people are bullish again. People have kind of switched overnight like that from bearish to bullish, and people have started buying the stock again. Now, what do I think is going to happen with Amazon stock? Well, I think that honestly, if interest rates keep rising in 2019 like they're projected to do so, that Amazon will continue to struggle in 2019. I don't think we're going to have massive rallies in the stock. I think it's going to be more or less a sideways movement or maybe even a downwards movement in the stock. Like I said, they have a large debt load, and with higher interest rates, they do have to pay out more of their cash now to interest payments. This of course affects the business, their numbers, and everything surrounding that. So it's not really a positive for the stock when interest rates are rising. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a bear on Amazon. I don't think the company's going bankrupt or anything like that anytime soon. I'm an absolute bull on Amazon for the long term. I love the company, love the business, love the service that they provide as well from a consumer standpoint. But I just want to let you know, as a potential Amazon investor, that you should be aware of the negatives around the business as well, because you need to understand why the stock is moving down, if that's going to continue, and if we have potential to recover and move higher in the short and long term. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this was some news to you. I know a lot of people, like I said, did not hear about this, so let me know in the comments below if this was surprising to you and if this changes your opinion on Amazon stock at all. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.